and welcome again to another Activation Monday. Tonight's a really strong and powerful topic. And this is a progression that we've been doing since the previous Activation Monday. So we're literally going bold, and today is really about the power of bold action. And I'm going to go into that. It's really about moving beyond fear and into aligned action. And that's what we're going to focus on tonight. And tonight's intention, so wherever you are, whenever you're watching this afterwards, or if you're watching this now, we're going to set an intention. And tonight's intention is really about it isn't about becoming fearless. It's really about just being willing to trust yourself. And being willing to take that one courageous step. And this could be a lot of things, so we're going to go into this a little bit more of what that courageous step can be. And why, we're willing to move forward before, basically just getting to the point where we don't wait for something to be perfect or we have to have the right scenario, but we feel within ourselves of what the actions we need to take, but something is holding us back. And oftentimes it's really about waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect scenario. And it's not about waiting for perfection. It's about waiting for the movement. So we're going to start with this Activation Monday with one question, and just sit with this. I'm just going to ask the question wherever you are. Just sit with it, give it a moment, and let whatever naturally comes to you. The first thing is usually the right answer. So I'm going to ask this question right now. What bold action has your heart been quietly asking you to take? So I'll say that one more time. What bold action has your heart been quietly asking you to take? Just sit with that. Maybe even breathe into that, wherever you are, just breathing in. Just breathing in and just bask in that question. I'll even ask it one more time, just so we really go a little deeper with this. And just allow anything coming up and surface. This is your moment. And you can exhale if you like. Just balancing your energy a little bit, grounding yourself. Let's actually take one more deep breath in to really ground ourselves as we get started. So once again, just breathing in all the way into the chest. Breathing in, and just hold it there. And really hold space right here. Hold space for yourself, because you're watching this. You're here. Take this moment. Let this be your sacred pause, your sacred moment. Just hold it there for a second. I'm going to ask, what bold action has your heart been quietly asking you to take? Now breathe out. Just give it a moment. Kind of sit with that. So the previous Activation Mondays, like I said, we've been leading up to this particular moment. And we have talked about releasing emotional weight. And we talked about learning how to surrender, receiving what we need to receive, being willing to receive, and becoming conscious creators of our lives. And also becoming the person who we can hold that life that we truly desire. So these are the previous Activation Mondays that we have tapped into. So a lot of this has been stirring up. And even if you're just jumping in right now, I just mentioned this because this is all something we're gonna cycle back again. And that's how it works. We bring it up, we allow what comes to surface, needs to come to surface, we work through it, and then we just continue the cycle, just like this ebb and flow. Because a lot of times we're working through something, it takes layers and layers to get to the core of what we need to face. And sometimes not. Sometimes just things just come up right away, and it's like, wow, yes, that's the thing, that's what I know. So allow this space and just see what shows up. This could be the first few layers, or maybe even the very first layer. Just allow yourself some grace and the space to just see what really shows up. So as we're moving, and eventually the movement that we take, the action that we actually choose to take, the aligned action, it becomes the healing itself. And transformation is really asking us to participate with it. It's not just something that just happens spontaneously. I mean, it can at times. You can have a spontaneous moment, a feeling, an awakening. But a lot of times we're participating in it. And that's what this is really all about. So when we feel fear, a lot of things can come up when we feel it. And a lot of times when we feel fear, it's like an alarm, and it can be very, very uncomfortable. It can be very overwhelming. And a lot of times this fear, this signal just comes up and it's like, what is this? And the truth is when we feel these signals of fear, it's not a signal to stop what we're doing. It may be a moment where you need to pause and sit with this, but it doesn't necessarily mean you need to stop. So let's say you're taking action, or maybe you have taken action before, and there's fear that comes in. And then that fear itself is the overwhelming feeling that you go through. And suddenly you maybe freeze or you stop. And maybe that actual fear allows this other things coming through. Your mind starts going off. It starts to give you self-doubt or just doubt, or other people's voices start to come in. And then you may stop. Rather than letting that fear be the signal that stops you, let that fear be the signal that you may actually getting a lot closer to a breakthrough, or to something that's actually going to push you to the other side of where you're actually coming to the crossroads of that choice, or the crossroads of where you actually keep moving forward as opposed to stopping. I say this and I ask these questions. What dream have you been postponing? Or what conversation have you been avoiding? And these are just questions to ask, and it doesn't mean that this is specifically what you're going through, but this is to stir things up a little bit. And what decisions or choices keep coming back? What is that one thing that keeps showing up over and over and over again? And maybe it's something you've already started, have already been working on, but it just amplifies. So just take note of that. So we're going to really take this moment and really identify what the bold action you need to take. So before you take the action, you need to have an idea of what it is. And it doesn't have to be like crystal clear, like, yes, this is bold action, I know exactly what to do. Once I know the action, I'm going for it. It could actually just be a feeling. It could be something that's just, again, has been in the background of your mind or of your awareness for a very long time. So we just drop in right now a little bit deeper to what that is. And let's just get a little clarity right now. So I ask you to close your eyes and just relax into this. It's a little brief meditation that we're going to go through. So just take a nice slow breath into the chest, very slowly breathing in all the way in, and just hold there for a moment. Just hold there with your eyes closed. And then just exhale with this light little sound. And just releasing any tension, of any like anticipation or whatever, I don't know, whatever feelings are showing up for you right now. Maybe tensions throughout the day, maybe some thoughts in your mind that keep lingering, and maybe they don't really have anything to do with what we're doing right now, but they're just like in the background going da 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 da. Just really take a moment, take a deep breath in again, breathing in all the way in, and just hold there. Allow things to come through, and then whenever you feel ready, just release with whatever little sound you want to make. Okay, just holding some space for yourself. Now keep your eyes closed. We're going to continue this journey a little bit. Imagine yourself wherever you are, maybe in this moment. You don't have to use too much of imagination, but of course it's entirely up to you. Just imagine yourself like a whole year from now, okay? Like a little time warp, a little time lapse. And in this version of yourself a year from now, imagine this feeling of being really proud of yourself. Just tuning into the emotions of that. We don't have to get into the details of why yet. And just imagine yourself again in this peaceful place where you're peaceful and proud, and where you feel truly aligned with this version of yourself. With this moment, with this version of yourself, you can begin to kind of fill in a little bit of the details. And you can imagine maybe what decisions that may have led up to this point that you made. Maybe there's some choices, some actions that perhaps came about that led to this point where you feel really, really aligned with who you are, in this place of peace, in this place of feeling like proud of yourself. Now, proud is a very generalized word, so it could mean that you've accomplished something, or maybe it's just something you know that you have taken care of for yourself, whatever that may be. Not so much like you had to earn this moment, but more like you've just made these aligned choices that led you a year from now. And you're now in an environment where you're feeling like you're this version of yourself that has taken certain actions that you can feel this way about yourself. And then finally, I'll plug in the question a little bit of what that is. What action did you finally take that led you to that moment, to this moment? What did you stop waiting for? What did you let go of? And again, what certain actions, if you just like imagine, just like what the first visual or feelings that come to you, what actions may have led you up to this very point? And don't worry about the how, just feel into that. Let it show up. Now continue to be in this space, reflecting into this a little bit deeper. Is there an idea that keeps returning into your awareness? Something that's still in the background that keeps wanting to come to surface? And it could be an idea that maybe you need to create something, or it could be an idea of something you know you need to do, or something you have started that you need to continue to do. And maybe it's like certain actions and ideas that is nudging you to take a next step or bring it to another level. And now I ask you this. What have you been postponing? What actions you're not taking right now, or between this moment and that moment? And what excuses may be coming in the way from that prevents you from taking those actions? And I ask you this. What would I do, or what would you do, I should say, if you really trusted yourself completely? What would you actually be doing? And what really feels exciting for you right now? What really juices you up? When you think about it, you just feel it. You feel like butterflies in your stomach, or you feel it in your body somewhere. Something just feels light and exciting and exhilarating. And maybe a little scary. Maybe there's a little anxiety as well. Something very maybe different than you have felt, or maybe it's a feeling you felt before but you haven't felt in a while. Now, with all of that being said, with all those feelings and emotions, what is the one bold action that all this could be attached to if you were to take it? So you're just tuning into that, and again, just allow what keeps coming up, and you can just still sit in the space that you're at. And if you feel like you're in a place you want to like take a piece of paper and journal and write some of this stuff down, I do it. It'd be a great idea to take the time right now and do that. But if you just want to sit back and receive the information, sometimes that's nice too, where you can just allow this space where the answers just come to you. And then after you watch this, or wherever you are, then you can find a journal and write everything out that came through. So this is a little opportunity that you can do either way, and it's entirely what you feel is best for you. So I'm going to ask this question, and just actually fill in the blanks here. So when I say this, just fill in the blanks, whether you do it mentally or write it down. So my bold action is, fill in the blank. You can take a little pause for a moment. What am I afraid will happen once I take that bold action? What am I afraid will happen if I take that bold action? Just fill in the blank, whatever comes to surface. Sit with it, write it, whatever you feel is right. And just really fill in. And just allow yourself to be raw and honest right now. Like, really just get real with yourself. You showed up for you. No one's doing this for you. You came up. You're here now. Whether you're watching it later or whenever, this is your moment. And be that best friend that's not afraid to tell you the truth, because that friend really cares for you and just wants the best for you. So reverse that for yourself and be your own best friend. What's the worst case scenario that could happen if I took this bold action? I'll repeat that again. What's the worst case scenario that could happen if I took that bold action? See where it feels in your body. Like, kind of tune into that as well. If you feel any uncomfortable feeling, tension when I ask these questions, what's showing up for you? Maybe things don't quite up or come up right away, but maybe you feel it more in your body. So just tune into that too. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, and this is not like a test or anything. This is just something for you to work with. So be really graceful with yourself in this moment and just allow what shows up, whether it's feelings, emotions, thoughts, or whatever. Just want to plug that in as we continue. And what is the best case scenario? What would the best case scenario be if you took that bold action? What would it be? Now, what would it be like if you didn't take that bold action? How would it be 6 months from now if you didn't take that action? What would that look like? What would that feel like? What results in your life? Would it be consequences? Does it change? Do things in your life change without taking that bold action? Or does it remain the same and nothing changes? And if you find yourself holding yourself back, what is it costing you? Think 6 months prior to this moment, 6 months ago. Did you take that bold action then? And if you did, how has it been since then to now? What changes had happened 6 months prior to this moment? Were there any changes? Was it the same? Were there consequences? Did anything get lost or anything different at all? And maybe the fear comes in and it's just claiming certainty. It wants the answer. It wants, no, it needs to be like this. I need to know. Like, something is trying to come in and get that certainty from you. And when the truth is real growth for yourself. It's about trust. About surrendering to that part of you that knows what it is you need to be doing. And trusting that part. And continuing. And again, if it's something that still is progressing for you, and maybe you have done these things, but yet something keeps stopping you. Like, you'd be like, you have like what they say, 2 or 3 steps forward, and then 5 steps back. It's like this yo-yo effect. You do this, it's back and forth. And I just want to point out that's part of life, and it's not about doing this perfectly. It's not about like always taking the bold action and everything just goes accordingly the way it needs to go, and then you're from here to there and everything's like exponentially different without any imperfections, without anything in between that. Because that it could very well mean that you may have to face a lot of changes in your life that may be very, very uncomfortable. Choices to be made in order to take that bold action. What is, honestly, and not to say this to install fear, it's just to be aware of what you're doing. Not even so much why you're doing it, but be aware of what it feels like for you to honor that part about yourself that knows that honor the feeling, the intuitive guidance that lives within you, that has these answers. And regardless of what's around you and what changes around you, whether it's people or situations, whether it's moving or making big decisions or small decisions, all of that is part of the dance that may happen when you start to take action on this. And life will conform around that, regardless if it seems to be a negative result or a positive one. Knowing that as long as you're honoring what you know and your heart feels right and true for you authentically, that journey will continue. And yes, there's going to be moments and tests, it seems, when another situation or something seems to come in the way and it seems like it's trying to stop you or change it, or maybe even get to the point where fear comes back so strong you're like, what am I doing? Why am I even doing this? And you start to doubt yourself. And the truth is that's normal too. This is not going to be a perfect journey. This is not going to be a clear cut where you're point A to point B or whatever the destination is. It's going to be like no challenges. It's just about knowing that every time you take the action closer and closer and you don't give up, something grows in you, something strengthens, you become stronger. And even fear comes in. That doesn't even throw you off, because you start to build more of this muscle, and the self-doubt and the fear starts to get a little bit less and less, regardless if they're there or not. They don't have the same pull like they did before. You built that muscle. So courage becomes first before comfort. And a lot of people wait for comfort first before taking an action. And we all have done this because it's human nature to want to be comfortable and to choose comfort over discomfort. It's a very natural, normal thing to have. So no judgment here, and you should not be judging yourself. But know that real growth can be discomfort. And you probably have had many experiences in your life up to this point where you felt that. It felt uncomfortable, maybe even felt impossible, or whatever it was you're going through, and suddenly you kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and boom, you're on the other side of it. You're like, wow, I can't believe I did that, but I did. And you just feel this feeling of excitement and proud of yourself. I like to use proud because it's just an emotion that humans can relate with. So let's continue with the one bold step that you can be taking. And here are a few examples of what that can be. And again, tune in to what you feel is your bold action. Or just getting, once again, more clarity on that. And that could just be just one action, like an email or a phone call or a conversation with someone that you know you need to take and you haven't yet. You could be watching a video, maybe apply for some employment or job or new job, or go back to school. Whatever it is, whatever action calls to you and you head towards that, it gets you closer. So it takes momentum to an action over time, and as you every little action you take becomes a compounded action. So suddenly these little tiny actions is the bold action. So the bold action really is just the choice to make. I'm going to do this. I'm going to apply for this job. I'm going to go to the university. I'm going to start that new project. I'm going to start my new business. And let's say you've done it before and it didn't quite, it seemed maybe it even didn't work out. He's like, you know what? I'm going to bring that business back, and I'm really going to focus on, I'm really going to be steady with that this time. It seemed like I kind of was up and down before, but this time I'm going to stick it through. Even if it's imperfect, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take that bold action and continue with it. And then also, when you're on this journey of doing this, it's so important to celebrate yourself, to celebrate the wins, even they're very, very tiny, and maybe it doesn't even seem like a win. You want to honor yourself and take that moment, like, yes, I did it, woo! And it could just be, maybe it's an application, you fill the application, you submit it, boom, done, celebrate. And maybe if you have a business, you start a website. And maybe just buy the domain name first. And that's the first step. So you celebrate. And then you find the designer, you find a way to design it. Whatever it is, these are just examples of it. So you just take an action towards it, or maybe you file a DBA, or if you're starting a new project, you can even name your project. And whatever it is, just take those actions and celebrate it, because we need the celebrations, because it helps with the dopamine rush that we all as humans love to have, that dopamine rush. But it also just keeps the momentum going. Because for a lot of times you want to wait till we're finally at the end. Okay, now I got what I needed, or I got what I wanted to do, and here's the accomplishment, here's the goal. Then we celebrate and reward ourselves. But that's not how it works, because it's really about the journey. I know you've heard this over and over again. It's really about the journey. It really is about the journey. Because those moments, those celebrations, and even the points where it seems like it's throwing you off a little bit, those are also something to celebrate. Because as long as you're learning and growing, every day is a celebration. Acknowledge yourself for that. Building, and you're like, oh wow, I actually did do that. And I'll give you an example, because I think this would be a good time for that. And as I was on my journey, and I have a little tea here, it's very easy to just go, set this goal, do this, go here, do that, da. And then to have these moments of check-in, you check in with yourself. So I did that recently, where I was taking action and taking this and that, and then I just stopped for a moment, I paused, and I checked in with myself, and I actually went back and measured the success. And when I say success, I don't mean like I'm accomplished and I'm trying to accomplish, but there was growth. So I'll bring it in a different frame of words. The growth that I experienced was actually the success, and that's what I'm really talking about. So when I had that knowingness that, oh wow, I actually went from here, and I know, and I'll bring my example of my jewelry. So I was doing my jewelry, I had a certain amount of income that was coming in from that, but as I kept moving and growing, that kept growing, and I could actually, when I checked in, I actually saw the growth, and I realized that, oh wow, I need to celebrate that, and not to, I think in our culture, we're taught not to brag. We're taught not to basically brag. We will hold that in, unless it's like a big accomplishment, like usually a graduation or some kind of big success. Then it's like, oh, then you can succeed. But just these little moments, you can take these little moments where you've graduated for yourself, like these little, like tiny little steps. I graduated from here, I graduated from there, and so on. And treat that as a moment of like you're graduating. Because every time you grow, and even if it means you went through a challenging situation and it seemed to have gone wrong or bad or whatever, then that's part of it. That's part of the growth. Celebrate it like a growth celebration. So every day is a day that we can just go into and look in what we're doing and how we celebrate. So starting from the morning all the way till the evening is an opportunity to just really like tune into what you're doing. So when you wake up in the morning, you can set yourself certain goals. So I would recommend that you just focus on one thing that you want to accomplish, and maybe it's one thing, or maybe it could be other things leading to the bold action, like you set some time out for yourself, or maybe you have to go somewhere, or something needs to be done. And when you get up in the morning, just really keep it simple. We're going to go and do a little bit more homework with that, but I'm just setting it up, where we're going to go and you set those portions up for yourself. And it's not like the goal, like a to-do list, because that's not exciting, and most likely it's not going to be exciting to do. It's just a moment. It's like, okay, how can I take one action, or bold action, because we're really talking about bold action. And I'm just going to bring an example. Let's say you want to start a business. I needed to purchase a domain name. So you have just one day where that's just one goal you want to do. You buy the domain name that day. And then maybe you feel like a little more ambitious and you can do more on top of that, but at least you just focus on the one thing. And maybe just keep it simple for now. And then at the end of the night, you can just ask yourself and check in with yourself every night before you go to sleep. And you could say, what bold action did I take today? And reflect back on that. And then say, oh, well, and maybe it didn't seem like you did a lot, but really think about it. And you could maybe say, you know what, actually I picked up the phone and I called that person and I needed some advice of how to do this. So you called a person, you got a little advice, you got some ideas, and that was the first action to take. And then you ask yourself, well, what did I learn? And just reflect on that. Was there anything you learned from that day? Even like what seems to be mistakes, that could be part of the learning. Just be honest with it and just see what shows up for you. And then ask yourself, what felt easier than I expected? Because sometimes when you start in this process and it feels really difficult, it feels like, oh, there's no way I'm going to do that or accomplish that. But then you do it. And it actually wasn't as hard as you thought. So just like tune into that. And then prepare yourself for the next day. What is your next step going to be tomorrow? So maybe you did this one thing, you started a phone conversation, you got some advice, and then tomorrow it's like, boom, okay, I'm going to take action on the advice that I got today. The good advice I got, now tomorrow I'm going to take the action. And just make note of it and honor it. So that's the next step. And so this leads into the next 7-day bold challenge that I would like everybody to jump on if you would like to do this for yourself. Just 7 days. And we can, you can always check in. So after 7 days, you check in with this. And we keep it pretty simple. So for the next, 7 days, every day, again, one intentional action. Really, I do ask to just do one intentional action, not a bunch of things. Because that's when it starts to feel overwhelming. And I was kind of bringing this up before, but really take one action. And yeah, the small, it builds up to, again, the one compound action. So really focus on just the one action. And then every day, like I said, when you go to sleep, you can ask those questions, check in with yourself, and then the next day set up for yourself of what that intentional action is. So that's the challenge that you can have. So starting today or whenever you watch this, just give yourself the next 7 days. It doesn't have to be exactly like Monday through Monday or whatever it is. Just start. It's all about starting. It's all about just starting and taking the action. So whatever it is. And I also really recommend that you write this on a journal, at least a journal. You can also type it, whatever works for you. Just say, today, what did I do? I did this one action. I took it, I bought the domain name. I'm just bringing that example because I'm sure there's more. I talked to the friend and I got advice. Then the next day I'm going to take, whatever the friend gave me advice, I'm going to do that the next day. And the next day you keep following up on that. You keep adding. And maybe this is something that you refine every single day. Like you just start tomorrow with that. Okay, I'm going to do that tomorrow. And then the next day say, well, what am I going to do next? Well, I did this. So now I'm going to do that. You add it. So just keep layering it up. You don't have to have the whole thing figured out all at once. Just one day at a time is all you need. Keep it as simple as possible because then you actually do it. All right, so now I know we're doing a lot of tasks and a lot of tuning into that. So we're going to go on a little bit of a guided journey right now, a little meditation, just relax into that. And then I really want you to find this space for yourself. Okay, so wherever you are, just get comfortable and just sit with yourself. And just as you're witnessing yourself wherever you are, just really go into this place of trust. And really just find the places where maybe you're not having that feeling of trust right now. And maybe there's other feelings coming through for you in this moment. Maybe it's not trust. Maybe it's some lingering fears or self-doubt. And you want to be able to trust yourself, but those show up for you. And then really allow this space of tuning in and going into this place of relaxation, going in this place and just opening your heart in your heart space and just honoring yourself. And honoring those parts about you where you can just be where you are. And just being present in this moment. And allow whatever feelings come up for you just to naturally surface, even the uncomfortable feelings. And I know we were asking a lot of questions, and there was a lot of things that could be even triggering. And that's okay. They're just feelings for you to witness and to acknowledge, and it lets you know where you're at right now. And it doesn't mean it's a permanent feeling. It's just a feeling that can be shifted. And now go in this space where you acknowledge that and just witness. You can take a deep breath in, breathing in all the way in. Just holding there. Really evaluating that beautiful space of your trust, that knowing what it is that you feel for yourself to witness. And just release whatever resistance needs to be released. Let it go. And just knowing that you are in a place of trust. And no matter what happens around, there is this inner peace that still lives within you. And it knows exactly what to do. It is your center. And it knows the actions for you to take. And it's there for you. And just going to this space, imagine you're just opening up and in this sacred space of trusting yourself. And maybe you can imagine yourself being in a place where it feels good and trusting you, whatever that space could be. And just knowing that this is a safe place for you, and allow into that even further, going deeper and deeper. And let whatever comes up, any of the doubt, any of the fear, just let it come. Any hesitations, anything maybe wanting to get in the way, be honest and embrace that for yourself. And just really take a deep breath in. Let's do this together, breathing in all the way in. And say to yourself quietly in your inner mind, I released hesitation. I trust my inner guidance. I am curious about who I am. I move with intention. I move with truth. My actions create momentum. And I am ready. And I choose courage over comfort. I trust that each next step will reveal something new. I embrace my heart. I embrace my inner truth. And I trust whatever needs to come through will come through. And if there's anything that needs to be released, any tension, worries, or doubt, just allow that to come up and feel into that space. And just take a deep breath in, all the way in, holding right there. And just release. Really let go. And just honor that part of you that faces these feelings, regardless of why you feel like you shouldn't feel the way you feel. Maybe there is resistance, maybe there is the doubt that comes in, but yet here you are, and just breathe in love and really hold it there and let go. Let go of anything, tension, worries, whatever thoughts in the background, let it go, let it go. be in this beautiful sacred space of your own heart. You're exactly where you need to be. I'm just going to go into the next part of the activation, a little sound healing. So ya know, say ya ho, say ya ho, say ya no mi e yo sa, que ya no mi e ya no. And then just really get into that moment. Of just being where you are. And just be in this sacred space wherever you are, just in this present moment. And just really embrace this. And just coming together as one. And coming together in our heart space. And then wherever you are, just know that this is your time to take the bold action wherever you are, and we're going to honor that for yourself in this moment. And remember to take this space, this sacred space of the 7 days, and you can allow this action for you to continue. And know that everything is perfectly in divine timing. And you're exactly where you need to be. And in the next 7 days ahead, continue to take that one bold action for yourself. And come onto the WhatsApp group. I can give you information about it if you don't have it already. Just, you can message me and I can give you the information. We can check in and see how your progress is doing on the action that you take. If you need more support, one-on-one support, please reach out to me directly. I can offer more of a one-on-one connection and guidance. And let's continue to do this journey together as one. You don't have to do this alone. And I thank you so much for being here today. And thank you for taking time for yourself to show up and take that one bold action. And I'd love to hear from you very soon. Take care.